Because we are different from angels. Our whole job is not to sit on a musalla and pray all day long. We have many duties to serve. We're the Khalifa over here. And now you notice that there is something happening at government level. Tariffs are getting implemented. People are hearing about tariffs. Now some people don't even know what tariffs are. When they hear the word tariff, they're like, oh, okay, maybe something China will be affected by, India will be affected by, European Union will be affected by. I don't know what it is. What exactly is a tariff? Tariff is the tax that you impose on the other countries who are selling you goods. So when you impose taxes on them, what happens? The price of the commodity goes up. The same product that you were getting for $1 is now $1.50. So when you ask analysts, okay, if these tariffs go into place, what will be the yearly effect on my spending as a medium household? So the analyst said on the average, every household may see yearly difference of close to $4,000 in their bills. That's an average. For now, if you divide it up in a year, roughly, let's say $350, $380, maybe $400 more every month. Now, do we have that much? If not, we got to figure out something ahead of time before it strikes hard. Now, what happens when things are getting more expensive? The businesses will start getting the same commodity at higher price because now they will be selling you the same commodity at a higher price. Not very many people will now be able to afford that commodity they were affording before, or not at the same quantity that they were affording before. As a result, what will happen? The businesses would start losing business in terms of quantities. So what happens when a business shrinks? They have to downsize. When they downsize, who is on the suffering end? Employees besides the business. When employees suffer, what happens? Their overtime goes away, pay cuts, pay freezes, eventually let go. Workforce shrinks. Workforce shrinks has a direct impact on all of us, everyday life people. So a believer who knows, knowledgeable, is studying this. Is figuring things out before it's too late. What will I gonna do? We have tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not ever think that what I'm telling you is against the tawakkul. Now understand it like this. A famous poet said this, I will translate it for you. Tawakkul means that you sharpen your sword because you're going at war. So your sword should be sharpened. But the outcome of the sharpness of the sword is not what you control. But unfortunately, this is how we understand tawakkul. Don't even sharpen your swords. No. Tawakkul is tie your camel and then believe in Allah that Allah will protect it. But if you let your camel loose and say Allah will protect it, no, you're living in fool's paradise. So as a believer, we need to have an open mind. We need to be knowledgeable what's happening. When the whole economy suffers, everybody suffers. When everything goes in recession, then what happens? So the reason I'm telling you all of these things is to educate you, to start thinking about things, not to scare you. That takes me back to a story, a very short story that happened at the time of one of the kings in those areas where now are those free countries that liberated themselves from Russia. So one of those kings was approached by a scientist, and he said, let's build an observatory so that we can look at the movement of the stars, so that we can make decisions related to weather or some of the other things. And the king is like, that's a waste of money. He said, okay, let me prove my point to you. He said, can you give me an access to somebody who is great at making glasses? And what I will do is I will do something tomorrow or in a couple days. You will be aware of what's happening, but nobody else will be. And I want you to see the reaction. So he approaches this glass person and said, okay, I want you to make very thin plates that if it hit doesn't hurt, but creates a lot of noise. So he makes it for them like a 20, 30, 40 of them. And when court is busy and everybody is busy in court with the king, at that time he appoints a few men on the top floor to start dropping the plates. As the plate starts to drop down, there was a chaos in the court, and everybody started running in different directions to save themselves, but the king. He's sitting very calmly in his chair because he knew what was going on. At the end of the episode, the scientist approached the king and said, do you get my point? When you are aware, you already know what's going on, you are in a much better state than these people who are in a chaos. So I am building observatory just so that we are aware and we do not go in that situation of a chaos. So it's always a good idea to know.